welcome back YouTube to another episode of 10 with Travis, where we take just 10 minutes a day to dive deep into the Word so you can be more equipped today than you were yesterday. I appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting so far on my videos. Please continue to share these with your friends and families around, as I know it'll also bless them as well. So the reason I wanted to do these videos and why I think God laid it on my heart was, number one, because I think it's just a great tool that I'm able to grow closer with Him. So selfishly, yes, I feel like God wanted me to make these videos because it really allows me to dive deep into the Word, and that I can just continue to learn and grow about Him. And then while I'm doing that, I might as well share what I learned as well. So preparing for these gives me an opportunity to even get the revelation deeper inside myself, so that when I share it, I can bless others as well. So I know that for a lot of you it's maybe uncommon, or you're just starting getting out, or you're trying to figure out different ways to carve time out for God, because yes, life gets busy and we all understand that, but we do need to make sure that we're making time for God, just time that's set aside completely from everything else, that we can just go ahead and listen to Him and hear about His Word, which is a reason I wanted to do this. 10 minutes is not very much that people can spend each day watching these videos, so I know life gets hectic, but I figured 10 minutes can be carved out, go deep, get some revelation for people, and that's something that we can continue to build on each and every day, so people are able to keep God on their mind and keep God as their focus. So with that, we're going to go on to today's episode, which is building off the phrase that Dr. Barker used, and that phrase which we talked about last episode was, hold on to kingdom principles and promises without compromise. So in the last episode, we looked at Abraham and Sarah and how it took 25 whole years for them to see their promise fulfilled. And that promise was Isaac, who is the promised child. We also saw that they took matters into their own hands. So Hagar, who was Sarah's maidservant, Sarah told Abram to sleep with her, and because of that, they bore Ishmael. And that is something that the world today still has kind of a ripple effect from. So when we take things into our own hands, again, God still blesses with the Isaac, but it still comes with sometimes some baggage with the Ishmael. So we want to make sure we're patient and we do not compromise on fulfilling God's promise. So specifically in Abram's situation, he has something that needs to be removed, or someone that was removed from him. So we're going to kind of use that theme to talk about why God's promises don't come on our time. So many times a promise seems delayed to us because God's trying to work something out in us. He's trying to give us a revelation. He's trying to show us the way of something, or we just need some pruning of our character and our traits. Or there may be a reason because other people that are going to be part of our promise, part of the fulfillment, need to get ready as well. So there might be some background work that God's doing on other people's hearts. And frankly, sometimes it's just a waiting game, because we are so gratified now, people, that any type of wait seems like a long wait. So again, in Abraham's specific situation, it's going to be a separation that occurred. And it's going to be between him and Lot. Which a little background information is, Lot is the nephew of Abram. And I'm going to read the story from Genesis 13. So starting in verse 6, we're going to go all the way down into 14. So it says, now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together. This is speaking of Abram and Lot. For their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwell in the land. So Genesis 13 is one chapter after we talked about yesterday, Genesis 12, when God gave Abram the promise that he would be a father of many nations. Look up and see the stars in the sky, which I think that was in 12, but I do know he did give the promise to Abram in that chapter that he would be the father of many nations. So going on to verse 8, so Abram said to Lot, please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. It is not the whole land before you. Please separate from me. If you take the left, I will go right. If you go right, I will go left. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go toward Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. and they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. So again, right here, Abram says, let's split. You can take whatever you want. I will take the other part. The most important thing is the split, and that's something that we sometimes compromise. When we try to have a split, we're still greedy through that split, but if God just says split, go ahead and split and let him work it out. So verse 14 says, "And the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see I give to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants could also be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you." So as you can see, they separated. Abram let Lot choose, and even through that choice, Abram still got the best deal. And he got the best deal because God will always make sure you get the best deal. If you do the split accordingly and you don't look at what's on the outside, or, oh, I need to keep on a little bit, or I need to do this. No, he just wants you sometimes to split in your life, whether that's a relationship, that's a job, again, whatever you feel like God's laying on your heart. If he's laying something on your heart, do not worry about the outcome, because once you make that split, God will bless you like he did Abram. So the challenge today is to specifically evaluate your relationships. So are there people in your life that you need to get rid of because they tear you down, or do you have great people around you that build you up? So we need to keep people with us that speak life into our lives, and not people that bring death and destruction. So it really calls for a prayer time between you and God to really kind of know this. You don't just want to cut something off that God doesn't want cut off, but you also don't want to keep something going that God doesn't want to keep going. So make sure that you pray about it, and then again, you be honest with yourself. And if you need to cut anyone out that needs to be cut out, I'm telling you, your miracle is going to be worth way more than that relationship. So what God has for you spiritually is always more than what you see naturally with relationships, or there's certain things in your life that you have. We always give up the natural for a greater revelation of the supernatural. So if you have questions on this and you need someone to maybe talk through it, to tell a situation from obviously most likely an objective standpoint, please reach out to us. Our email is below, so you can go ahead and send us an email. We would love to kind of talk you through the situation to see if you maybe do need to cut ties, or it might just need to be a little fix in a relationship. So again, if you think that's the case, have courage to separate from that, allowing just whatever to happen, knowing that God's going to bless you on the other side. So I pray that you have a blessed week, and remember, the title of this was Don't Compromise, but specifically hold on to kingdom principles and promises without compromise. So again, we do not want to compromise what God has for us spiritually, as well as what blessings he has for us based off a relationship. So go ahead and evaluate that. Reach out if you need to, and we will see you in the next episode of 10 with Travis.